welcome. My name is Gary McGuey, high school practice leader for Franklin Covey Education. We're extremely excited to be launching our very first team leadership series entitled Quarantine. Over the next few months, we'll be introducing weekly leadership topics related to the challenges associated with COVID-19. Our topic this week deals with virtual classrooms. The title, Our Virtual Reality, Our with an H. Get it? Well, let's meet our team of experts. Here we have Dylan, Hannah, Divine, Nyla, Braden, and Abby. Team, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good to see everybody again.
Awesome.
Good.
So appreciate these discussions. Look forward to hearing your brilliance each week. So we're talking virtual classrooms today, and there's been lots of discussions over the past month, whether we're talking core subjects, AP, electives, college classes, etc. What are your initial thoughts around this new normal? What's going well? Let's start there. What are some things that are going well?
I think for me personally, at least, and I feel like a lot of other students might agree, is that right now a lot of students are having to adapt their learning styles. I know for a lot of kids, they might be visual learners, or they might need their teachers right there with them to be able to ask those questions and really get new information. But right now, us being at home, we're really forced to learn new things in a different way. And I think that's helping us. And I think that's a positive that we're learning how to change the way we're learning.
Thank you.
I also think that our teachers are doing really well concerning the circumstances. They're doing really well at putting our work out and also making themselves available to us as much as they possibly can.
Thank you, Hannah. How about the opposite? What are some areas we could improve upon, some growth opportunities?
Right, so for me in the beginning, the work distribution, it was a lot. The workload was a lot, and it also needed some adjusting. So as time went on, the workload got easier and it became more, we adapted to it. So it became easier and we got used to it. So as our days keep getting pushed back further, we get more comfortable with the work that they're giving us. Mm-hmm. So it's gotten better, but at first it was a little bit difficult.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think to piggyback off of that, I think the big area of growth has been time management, and I think that, like Nyla said, when we first received the work, it was kind of hard to adjust to it because it was like totally different lifestyle change. But like as we've learned to schedule our time and learn what makes us want to procrastinate and different things like that, we've kind of figured out how to schedule our time so that we can get everything done when we need to.
Nice. Well, let's do this if that's okay, team. Let's talk about time management and the two best time management tips. Heard these years ago, and I share this every week. The two best time management tips. The first one, before the day begins, it should be finished. What's that saying to us? Before the day begins, it should be finished.
Personally, I think that just kind of means you have a plan set out for the whole day of what you want to do and get accomplished for the whole day. So if you sort of already know, well, at this time I need to get this done, at this time I need to do this. So just kind of have a plan for yourself.
Perfect. The second tip, before the week begins, it should be finished.
I think going along with what Dylan said, it's like you need to make sure you have what you're going to do this week planned out. I know like with school, some people focus on a different subject every day of the week, or they focus on like they have different time schedules for each subject every day. But just knowing what you're going to do that week so you're staying organized.
Nice. So Tim, I'd like to share with you two models, weekly planning and daily planning, okay? Just to think about this. So weekly planning, and we're gonna really focus our role as a student here, okay? Now here's the question we need to ask ourselves in weekly planning. What's the most important thing I can do this week in my role as a student? And that's gonna vary from student to student, right? But I think if we can really ask ourselves and center ourselves around that question, it'll really center us for the week, and we're going to feel more confident as we head into the week. Now, the second one with daily planning, okay? Now, typically daily planning, just think about 10 minutes. That's all we're talking here, 10 minutes. Think about doing this before we go to bed at nighttime. We're going to plan for the next day. Okay, 3 steps. So the first step we do is we reflect back on how I did today. Does that make sense? What worked well? What could I improve upon? The second tip is just to identify, here's what I must do tomorrow, and get that scheduled. And one of your must-dos is attending your virtual classrooms. And then the third piece is just organizing the rest of the day. So once again, it sounds simple. It's not like, wow, I never thought of that before. The biggest challenge for us is just to do it, to execute, to follow through on it. So with that being said, could we just throw this out to you guys and just like to hear from you? What are some thoughts? What are some best practices? What have we learned this past month? What about for students who don't have internet access? How are they getting this done? So I just want to release it to you guys, this discussion. What are your thoughts?
Well, for sure, the best thing to do is this is all about making a plan. And Hannah and I talked about earlier how we both write on a piece of paper as opposed to our agenda like we did in school. And she makes hers super interactive. So if you just do that, you know exactly what you need to do. And for kids who don't have internet access, if they make a plan of what they need to get done, maybe they can talk to their teachers about work that needs to be printed and dropped off or something like that. But as long as you make a plan and even make it interactive and you know what you need to get done, then you can do it and go on from there.
Just like Nyla was saying, I think knowing what you're going to do and like writing it down or even just having a to-do list, because I know for my family, I have so many siblings, it's hard for me to do like a hour-to-hour schedule just because this one needs this help and stuff like that. So just knowing what assignments I want to get finished that day and making sure I finish them, that also really helps. And also I know we have a nonprofit that helps immigrants. So those that don't have technology or Wi-Fi at home, I know that they've been either finding ways to borrow it from their school, which a lot of schools in our county are allowing students to borrow technology, or if it's just using the phone and communicating with teachers to make sure they can get a plan worked out for them.
I think for me personally, a lot of it comes down to building a habit and kind of making a habit for myself and building good habits during this time. So every night going like thinking about what I have to do the next day, like you said, Mr. McGuey, and it really doesn't take that long at all. Just getting into the habit of kind of planning out my next day and how I'm going to put first things first and really get my work done, and then maybe like spend time with my family, and then whatever comes after that. And so that's really what I've been doing during this time, is just trying to make that plan the day before.
Thank you.
Yes. I agree with Braden because I don't know if any of the other kids out there can relate to me on this one, but I am a procrastinator. And I like to say, oh, I have the whole day to get this done. Let me just watch a couple episodes of, whatever, All American, or let me go bake a cake for some reason, and I'll do my homework later. And so I feel like making that schedule the day before and like knowing I have to get this done before the day ends helps me to, like Braden said, put first things first and get the most important things done. So then after I can bake my cake, and then I can eat it and enjoy the things that I want to enjoy after work is done.
With to-do lists, I've seen so many articles that say like, don't overload your to-do list, because then it's also overwhelming and you just want to focus on the big things to get done, because those are the things that are also going to take up your time. And if you keep it to 3 to 5 things, then you don't feel overwhelmed.
Nice. So I'm hearing a theme, a lot to do with having a list, having some direction, daily direction, scheduling an appointment with yourself as opposed to in the spirit of helping with procrastination, not overwhelming, keeping it tight, 3 to 5 things. Where would you say you're at right now? So how long are we a month into these virtual classrooms, give or take? Do you feel you're in a better place than you were week 1? And if so, why?
Yes, like I would say better and worse. Like week 1, I knew what I wanted to do, but it was still so new to me that I was also stressed out. But now I'm used to it, and I know what I need to do and want to get accomplished. So it's a balance as opposed to before it was unbalanced.
Okay.
I think it's a little easier now because you have like a routine, but it's also harder because the farther you get through this, or I guess the longer you go through this, the more you miss your friends, and I think that's just the initial downside of it all.
Nice.
I say for me personally, like the first week or so, I definitely felt like really overwhelmed with all the work that was packed on. I just felt like it was a lot of work to get done in a short amount of time. But then as the weeks gone on, I felt like I better scheduled and better like spread it out throughout the day to get it done. So it doesn't feel as overwhelming anymore.
Yeah, nice.
I think definitely for me, when we first started, like I was focused on trying to get everything done as much as I could, really. I didn't focus on having time for myself to do what I love and to do what I want. And last week we talked about how important it is to find your voice. So I think that I've gotten better at doing things not just that are related to school, but that are helping me with my interests and finding what I want to do, and also balancing that with school. But I still haven't found my balance between helping my siblings out because they're younger than me and they need help, and also getting my work done like productively where I'm not taking breaks like every 5 minutes. So there's still things we have to improve on, but I think that'll get better as my time management gets better.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like what Divine said, I feel like throughout this whole process, we've learned a lot about ourselves too, like how we operate, because when we were in school, like our schedule was kind of set out for us. We didn't really have a choice. It was like this period, then this period. But like now you get to choose your own periods and you get to make your own schedule. So you learn a lot about like how you operate and how your brain works.
What's your mindset, guys? Do you have the mindset like this is the way it's going to be until end of the school year? Is that the way we're leaning in now, or I'm just curious?
I definitely think so, because I was talking about this with my parents earlier, but like we've gotten to the point where we hit like the highest it's gonna get for us, and now it's just like kind of dwindling out, and it just stays that way for a while. And I feel like until there's like results showing that it's gonna go away for good, that we're still gonna be in the house all the time. So I'm pretty sure we're not gonna go back to school. Like I just don't think we will go back to school.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts?
I agree with Divine. I think we just need to make sure that we're not necessarily just accepting the situation as it is, but learning that although we have to accept the new way of life, that we can use this time to better ourselves, to better our time management skills, and to better the way we're learning and approaching all the different parts of life that we have to deal with now.
Nice.
Yeah, I think also accepting the present as it is now, but knowing it's not going to be like this forever. I think that's what really helps, kind of looking at the light at the end of the tunnel, because this isn't, what we had hoped for or wished for. There are positives to it that we can find, but we just have to remember that like this isn't our forever. It's just for right now.
I like to stay hopeful because even though like we may not go to school, I like to think like we possibly can go to schools at some point. So, and I think that like it motivates me to just keep doing, like there's going to be an end to this.
Well, let me just say one thing that, first of all, I always just love hearing you guys every week, what you come up with, because it's just huge, impressive. And even in this discussion here, we're talking about virtual classrooms, and I'm on the phones many times with, superintendents and principals and parents, and a lot of times there's, complaining going on, well, this or this. In this group here, there was no reactive complaining, whining going on. You guys are all kind of taking this very much inside out. Here's what we got to deal with, and it's on me. So I really appreciate that. So just in summarizing, we heard talking about having a plan, getting into this daily plan, getting our to-do list ready, not overwhelming ourselves, and once again, just do it, right? As opposed to just, procrastinating, just get it done. So, guys, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. We'll see you next week, and have a great week. Thank you so much. Take care.